Before we start, I'm going to ask Reed to do what she does with every podcast guest of hers, and it's for her to lead a meditation.
Little drop-in, I call it. I just get intentional, just so that whatever message is meant to come out tonight, it comes out the way it needs to, raw, vulnerable, unfiltered, and whoever it needs to land on in the world, or one woman, one person out there, may it land on them. So I usually like to just ground myself, and I do 3 deep breaths, deep nose, nasal, deep belly breath, and let it out. Universe, source, God, the highest of energies, whatever is meant to come out today, may it come with love. May I be the vessel to just share a message and know that it was a story, is a story that has shaped me to who I am. And thank you for bringing everybody collectively together today to be part of this. Thank you for this beautiful day. May this message land to and create ripples. Thank you.
Mahalo, Reed.
Let's do this.
Wait, I requested tissues. Your team did not get me tissues.
I got a pom-pom from my Gracie.
If you're a crier like I am, you may need some tissues as well.
While I wait, I just have to make one quick, really, really, really important message. There's a few people that did not get acknowledged so far, and I want to say thank you to my husband, Bay. This wouldn't happen without him. Thank you to my angel daughter, Mila. She stuffed all of those bags. She planned the desserts. She stuck on the stickers on the matches you'll be taking home later. It's gonna light it up. So those 2 humans are a gift, and they allow me and accept me, all of me, the crazy woman at home that's like trying to create this really beautiful magic. But without that container, I would be just wandering lost. So they keep my compass due north. So thank you. Yes. I love you guys so much. And
they have been working their butts off today, and I didn't see leading up to this. I'm sure that they were doing that as well. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mila. I love you. Thank you, babe.
And kudos to your social team.
Thank you to Ember Media.
Technical.
All these gentlemen right here. These are amazing. And Jetty and Layla and Savannah, like all of them are just, I've been grinding them. Not that kind though. I meant like, you know, I like to grind. Can't take the girl out of the hood.
And we obviously have to give big thanks to you too for including us in this magical, beautiful evening.
I promise, one more. She flew here.
Well, she made it happen.
Thank you.
She's like, I'm going to make it happen. Let's do it. So thank you for having me here. I'm honored to be here and to be part of your journey. So let's get started. I mentioned when I first introduced myself how I've known Reed for 30 years and how I didn't know what this woman has went through in her childhood and even leading up to her 20s, that I just thought, like, you know, she was a happy-go-lucky girl, always the life of the party, always positive. And I didn't know the struggles that she was going through. So I think today you're going to see a side of Reed that you may not have known as well if you haven't had those sort of conversations with her. And it's going to explain why Reignite with Reet speaks so loudly to her. And I hope that at the end of this conversation, you're going to feel inspired to take some action, whether it's with you or telling a friend about Reed's podcast and her coaching business. So let's get started. All right, Reed, we want to know. You're not American. Well, you have a green card now.
He didn't deport me.
You're Canadian, but you actually weren't born in Canada. Where were you born? Tell us about your early childhood.
So, I was born in India to two parents who were arranged. Their marriage was arranged. That's the culture. I come from a Punjabi, East Indian background, very traditional. Grew up for the first 7 years of my life in a village in India. At the age of about 6 months, my father left my mom to come to Canada to start another life. The plan was to make a better life and bring us, but he just forgot to bring us. He came to Canada, and for the first 7 years of my life, I never met him. He left, and he essentially had started a whole new family and started a whole nother life in Canada. Had got remarried, had another son, and then when I was almost 8, he dropped in, left Canada, came to India, and just came and said, I'm going to take my kids.
Did you ever wonder where he was for the first 8 years of your life?
I didn't know any different, other than the fact that there would be those token letters I was told to write to your dad. Punjabi was my first language. It's what I spoke. He did send some money, so my mom was able to afford to send me to a semi-private school that taught me English, and I had opportunities.
Yeah. Did you have recollections of what? Were you happy? Were you just? Did you feel safe? Okay. So
I had a great upbringing up until I was 7. My mom hustled. Her siblings took her in. We lived with my uncle. He had, they were well off. So my mom would, in exchange for letting me and my older brother, he's passed, but the three of us, my mom and my brother and I, would live with them, and she would clean the house, make meals, and in exchange for us living with them. But we didn't know any better. Like, they treated us like siblings. We were cousins. We just had a really good life. And my mom we slept with her every night. She just loved on us. And so when my dad came, he was a stranger, right?
And what were your thoughts of your dad when you first met him?
He had definitely a personality and an intensity about him. But up until that point, I didn't know anybody like him. I grew up in a village. We were all pretty much similar. We talked the same language. We eat similar foods. We play. We lived the Indian life. And then I had nothing to compare to. So when he came, he had a bigness about him. He had big dreams. He also had a really deep intensity about him that
intensity as in you were scared of him, or he was just very dramatic?
No, he wasn't dramatic. He was just very calculated. He knew what he wanted. He went after it, he got it. Just the intentions behind it wasn't very clear. I don't think to him, really not to him. And just to give he passed away. He died at the age of 39 when I was 15. He took us from India, brought us, dropped us into just outside of Toronto, and we literally drove into his house, and he said, open the door, and my stepmom was there, and she's like, hey, this is your mom. You can call her auntie or mom, but this is your life now. And my mom was left behind. My mom, he had said he was going to work on bringing her, but the intention was never, because he had another life.
Were you crying for your mom, you and your brother?
Yep. I don't think we never slept a night without her since probably we were born. So for the first time ever in our lives, to be separated and to a new country, to a new world. I mean, to give perspective, when we landed, it was November 8th, 1987. I'd never felt cold on my skin. I'd never seen so many lights. I'd never seen a McDonald's arch before. And to just drop in with that much intensity, and it feels like yesterday. It's so vivid still, right?
How did your father and stepmother treat you and your brother?
My stepmom was really she didn't know about us.
Oh. And did you have you have a half brother as well
Yeah.
with your...
So when we arrived, he was 7 months old. Shortly before he went to India, he told her, I have 2 children and I had a wife in India. And he'd already married and started a life with this woman. And like I said, somebody's always been looking out for me. She was a nice woman. She was West Indian. She was Guyanese. She just had a big heart, and she was good to us. She was good to my brother and I, as best as she could, right? She was a new mom. She took us to school. She took care of us. But my father, he just was, with so much time has passed, and from just having understanding of what he might have gone through now that I'm a parent, I think he was just a lost soul who did not want to be in an arranged marriage. So his whole life was somebody telling him what to do and what to be, and his only way out was leaving India. So having, sitting here today, having taken care of myself and knowing the opportunities he sacrificed for, even though he was not the greatest man, he was quite abusive, more like physically, emotionally. And
you came from a very loving environment to this foreign environment where it was harsh in every aspect, not just weather, but your father was very abusive with you verbally, emotionally, and physically.
He didn't want me alive. In our culture, men are what they strive for. Either women get abortions if they find out they're having a girl, especially if it's their first, their third. But to me, just to be alive, I'm a miracle. And he made it very clear that I was never going to be anything, and I was nothing. He didn't want me.
Did he talk that way to your brothers?
Not as much, no. Not in those words, but they still... My younger brother was very young, and my older brother, he still got it, but not in the same way he did towards me. Like, he still... my brother got hockey, signed up for hockey, had the sports, and, he pursued all of the things he wanted to do. I had to do whatever I was told to do and just be seen, not heard.
So you were 8 at this point.
Yep.
And how long did you live with your dad?
I lived with him till he passed away when I was 15. At 8 and at 9, I ran away from home. My brother and I, we concocted a big plan at school, and we just ran away.
Brother, even though he was treated better than you, he felt the need to run away from that environment as well.
Yep. We ran away. We hung out at a friend's house, and that mom, I opened up like, oh, I'm scared of my dad. Oh. And she called CAS. In Canada, it's the Children's Aid, we call it in Canada. And the police came, and at that point, it changed the trajectory of our lives. We went to the police station. My dad came, picked us up, took us home, but we were in the system. A few more times.
In the system as in foster care, or in the system that
in the
Children's
actual
Aid?
System of there's a record. My dad has been in the system. They sent us back with him.
They said, even though you told them you were scared.
Yep. Only for the next day for him to do it all over again. So when we had the courage, we ran away again. But I came back, my brother left, and he went to foster care. He said he didn't want to live there anymore, so they put him in foster care. And when the courts asked me, I said, no, I got it. My dad needs me. And I don't know why, I knew something inside of me that I don't know if he needed me necessarily then, but I think as victims, we tend to not want to be the victim. We just want to, I don't know, that's how I felt. I felt like there's got to be something. I got to help him. I got to help him.
Yeah, there must be a rational explanation for his behavior.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was rational. I said I just couldn't leave. I was scared, to be honest, of the unknown, of what does it mean? Like, I've already been taken, and so when I stayed, a few years later, he got sick. Later I found out he had AIDS, and if you know anything about AIDS in 80s and 90s, that wasn't like something you talk about. That's not something you ever even, it was taboo, and a kid wouldn't touch you with a 6-foot pole. He had HIV, but eventually he died of full-blown AIDS in 95. And so for the 2 years leading up to before he passed, I had to take care of him.
As a young teen?
Yeah. We had some nurses that would come in. He deteriorated, and, he was bedridden for about a good year and a half of the end of his life.
Was he still with your stepmom at this point?
Yeah.
And so she was taking care of him too?
Yeah. My father was very successful business-wise. He was just ambitious, he was driven, and he opened an insurance agency. He had his own business, an insurance brokerage. And when he got sick, my stepmom stepped in and started taking care of him, the business. She had to take care of the clients. And I had to step in and take care of my dad and my younger brother, because my older brother was in foster care.
How old was your brother then? Because you had 8 years on him.
Yeah.
So 15, so he
was about 7.
Yeah.
So for about a year and a half, I took care of him. There's a person that goes into, you come home from school, he's in a coma, you got to call 911. You got to change his diaper. You got to assist in all of those things. And I kind of pulled into my shell. I think I just did what I had to do. I didn't have much of a high school life. I still made some core group of friends, but at the same time in those days, my stepmom had just leaned into God, as in the Baptist Fundamentalist Church God. So we were really pretty much radicalized into going to church 4 or 5 times a week, wear dresses, can't do all of these things, can't hang out with anybody outside of the school, outside of the church. And they provided us some support. So it wasn't like, that was our family. And I mean, to give context, we came from India and I landed in a suburban white town. There's no Indians. I didn't speak any English, and I was forced to learn English very quickly. And then I lost my language, as in like the actual like speaking of it. I mean, it was all
or
here.
stalled as an 8-year-old. Yeah. You still speak like an 8-year-old in Punjabi.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
That's how I speak my native tongue as well, as a first grader. You had to adapt to a new environment. So you didn't sound like you were happy with your stepmom.
We were until we joined the church, because
Okay.
then she needed help and she needed to lean on people, right? And my father eventually passed away in 95. Shortly after, she met a gentleman in the church and she was about to get remarried. And I saw the writing on the wall that it was time. Like, I just knew in my intuition that if I stayed in that home, like, I just would have to marry and do whatever I'm told, and not in a way that I got any freedom or anything, just it was in the path for me and I knew it. So I made a plan and I ran away again. I decided that I couldn't live there anymore. I couldn't have this person, like, just maybe a year after my dad died, coming on getting another dad or some other new person. So a friend took me in for a few days, and a really good family that left that church, that were really like a family to me, they reached out and they took me in. So from 17 till in my 20s, they helped kind of restabilize me and gave me some safety and helped me deal with some abandonment and just...
And that's when I met you, because that's how I knew, that's the family I know of you. And it seemed like it was very loving from the outside too, and it still is. How did they help you heal?
With love.
Yeah.
I went from a very affectionate mom from till almost 8 to no contact, no hugging, like nothing. And by that time, this family took me in. I was just literally my adopted mom, I call her. She jokes with me. She's like, when you moved in with me, you would have sat on my eyelids if I let you. And I was just really this scared girl that was just hungry for love and affection. And they just gave me that. They gave me some stability. They gave me a home. You know, no home's perfect. We know that, right? There's always a silver lining in every home that leads you. But it was a good time to kind of pave the next part of my life.
So you weren't always this outgoing person, like prior to being with your adoptive family. I didn't know you back then, so I have no idea. Were you scared?
I was.
How did the time with your dad affect you? Obviously, you know, I assume low self-esteem, but were you scared it didn't seem like you were scared for a better life. You kept running away.
I knew from an early age that this wasn't going to be forever.
Yeah.
That, call it intuition, call it energy, call it like a higher voice inside of me. And I remember lying in bed when I first came to Canada and being like, this can't be it. I know what love feels like. And I wasn't. When I was in India, I have pictures that I just recently got of this girl barefoot in this like blue Indian suit standing in the dirt in a village with like boys all around her, and she knew her power. I was like, only 2 years ago I got this picture for the first time, and it reignited something in me saying, that's a girl that knows who she was loved, and she wasn't intimidated by a masculine environment, right? Like, and she knew. And for that time with my dad, yes, I was suppressed. I went in my shell. And then the next part, when I went in with my new family, they helped me come out.
They helped you come out, but you were still healing. You were still working through things. Like, what kind of struggles did you have that was related to your upbringing?
Some of the main one is like, I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough, imposter syndrome. And I think that's common in all of us, is what we realize through all of our journeys, right? And why I'm sharing this is because this past brought me here, right? It allowed me to go on this deep discovery journey. And that time and space gave me this drive that I knew I was gonna do something with my life and make an impact, change, create change. And for a long time I was scared of the Indian world because the culture, the philosophy they live by, but I was out of ignorance. I didn't have anybody showing me the other side, because nothing's all bad. Nothing is all bad. So there was a whole other side to the Indian culture that my mom showed me. You know, she was a very religious and spiritual woman. She prayed every day. And
you just reconnected with her, like relatively recent.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that was like? You went to India and you realized that she was not far away from you in Ontario.
Yeah. So just to take a step back, she was eventually brought to Canada by her siblings in my late teens. I went, I met her. My brother went from foster care to live with her.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
did you know that at that point?
Yeah, I went and met her.
But like, wouldn't you have wanted to go live with her as well, though?
I was given the choice and I said no.
Really?
I said no because I also knew in my gut at that time, again, I was old enough that they could marry me. I was old enough that I was not willing to go back all over again. As much as, you know, she loved me and I knew this woman had been hurt because she's a beautiful woman, I couldn't do that to myself. I loved her enough to be like, not right now. Like, I don't know. I just listened and said, I can't be in this environment. It's not safe. It didn't feel safe for my nervous system. It didn't feel safe for me. And so I would go try to visit her, make a little effort to have a relationship, but it got a bit toxic. My brother started to repeat the same cycle of my dad and verbally abusing me.
Because that's what he knew, how to be a man.
Yeah. So when I would visit him, he would just verbally abuse me and just say, you know, why can't you live with us? And next time, like, shame, like, you're just bringing shame to our family. And I was too still raw to allow that to happen. So I just, like, after an incident, I was tried for many years. At 25, I said no. Like, I would go once a month, once every few months, I'd go visit them. At 25, I cut him off. An incident happened, then I was like, I can't have this in my life. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to feel better and safe. And I left, and I said, I never want to see you guys again. And I left and never turned back. But I didn't know. You know, like, you don't know what you don't know. Shortly after that, a few years later, I only found out 2 years ago when I reconnected with my mom on the same day that while I'm in India, my mother's in Canada, and I go to the village that my grandparents were in. I don't know anybody in the village. I don't remember. I was 7 when I left. But I name dropped my grandpa's name. Mm-hmm. It's a village in India. They know everybody. So 5 minutes later, my cousins show up. They're like, we've been looking for you. Your mom's been looking for you. And I was like, yeah, I tried looking a little bit, but not that hard. But they called her. And in the same kind of few minutes later, I picked up some of the words in my language that, you know, I wasn't very fluent. And I heard the word Margya. Margya means death, died. And they used my brother's name. And I was like, what do you mean? What? Ki Margya? Like, who died? And he's like, you don't know? Like, what? And so my brother was murdered 15 years earlier. And the same day I found my mom, I found out he had been murdered. And it was like
was this random murder, or was it partly because he was involved in something?
He was at the wrong place on the wrong time. He was trying to separate someone with a gun, and he got shot. And so here, in one sense, I'm like, you know, really excited and nervous, and because I'm excited because I have my daughter now, and I'm a mom, and I have my husband with me, and I want them to know part of my past, because it was just little blips. They never could really piece the dots together because there were just so much for anybody to understand. So yeah, this kind of was a big bomb that dropped after we were traveling around the world for a year. That we took 2022, 2023 to take a year off, go around the world, and this was exactly halfway through our trip. And we finished off our year trip because my mom wanted me to stop and come. And I was like, no, Mom, there's a different plan going on right now. In right time, we will meet. Just not right now. I need time to process. So we talked, slowly started to build the relationship again. And once we finished off for a year, I went to Canada. I met her after almost 25 years, and just kind of helped bring some solace to her, because she had gone through a lot losing my brother. Now we're in touch. She came to Hawaii in December for the first time, and I'd never spent more than, she stayed 2 weeks with me, and I'd never spent more than 2 days in 38 years with her. And that was a trip. And she doesn't speak a word of English. She doesn't have a driver's license. And I'm proud of her, she's 72, and she took the plane by herself here. And and we made it. Yeah. Like, we actually, more than made it. She got to spend my first birthday in 38 years with me.
So you reestablished a relationship with her.
Yeah.
And it's going well?
Yeah. I've had to learn, through a lot of work and healing, and I'm allowed to also ask for boundaries and space in my own way, and I'm allowed to navigate and ask for how that relationship works. In the beginning, I had a pressure that I was supposed to feel like, in order to make up for lost time, I had to call her every day. And that was really not great for my mental health and my nervous system, because reliving the old stories, I couldn't do it. So I kind of had to use my tools, get all that, the work I'd been doing. I just said, hey, you know what, I'm going to call her once a week. I'm going to call her once a week, check in on her, and help kind of essentially train her on how we can develop this into something healthy. And you know, she has expectations I can't meet. She has unhealthy cultural things that are not healthy for me, right? Like in that culture, my weight is an issue. You know, I'm not enough. So, but that's not
And you
her.
don't want to go there again.
I didn't want to go there again. And so I had to talk to her and be honest and say, hey, you know, I'm not moving back to Canada, but this is where we're at. Let's go from here.
How did the healing started with your adoptive family, but how did you really go deep into it? Because they showed you what love is. They reminded you what love is. But beyond that, into adulthood, were you feeling lost? Because it never really goes away, this feeling of being not enough, being insufficient, being not good enough in anything that you do. Like, how did you work with that?
I put myself through a lot of therapy. Because
Like, you went to see a therapist?
Yep, multiple kinds. Psychologists, counselors. There was different types of shock therapies and different modalities that I would say yes. They'd be like,
You were
I
just
got
hurting.
this new method. Yes. Let me lie down. Well, what are you gonna do? And I surrounded myself. I started to just gravitate towards people that also took me in, whether it was a boss. She's like, I want to mentor you. Okay, been still in my life, impactful, another mother figure. Just married. I chose to marry a really amazing human who's been supportive through all of this journey. I continue to do the work, as in I have to call myself, because you can't go through this and not repeat it. So I have to consciously make sure that anger and rage is handled in a way that I don't suppress it, but I also release it, and I acknowledge it, and I don't ignore it, and all the sadness and the grief. And I think this island has helped me in the last 2 years of dealing with it, and it's helped me to birth this.
Let's talk about the present, how you got to the present. You mentioned that it was during COVID that you had sort of like this existential experience, like there's more to life than what I'm doing now. And you sold your house, moved across the country to the West Coast, bought a house, and you were still trying to figure it all out there. What were you doing at that time when you were in British Columbia?
COVID hit. My husband and I we were living the checklist life in Toronto, and you know, doing everything that we were supposed to do. Married, 2-car garage, got 2 cars. We commute like 3 hours a day for this amazing career. Yeah, that just never had an end. Burnout. Yeah, he got burnt out. I had a 2-year-old at home, and when my daughter turned 1, actually, I went to the doctor for like an annual checkup, and she was like, "Oh, by the way, you have premature ovarian failure." I'm like, "Huh? I thought I'm just like postpartum." And she's like, "No." So essentially, my body went into menopause. At the age of 38, I have this young child, and you know, the regular symptoms of postpartum, feeling like don't know what my body's doing, and waiting for, you know, things to come back. I want to go back. I kept saying to myself, I can't wait to go back to, you know, bounce back, the bounce back culture. And well, that never happened, and I kept trying, and weights and all the things.
That feeling of you're not doing enough came creeping back on you.
But now I have a little human who I'm just like I love, but there was this immense pressure and responsibility, and at the same time I felt like I was going crazy. I couldn't control my thoughts. They were like amplified, like times a million. I had different ideologies that were not good. And
What kind of thoughts were you having?
I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here.
Really?
I can't do this anymore. I walked into the emergency, called my husband on the phone on the way to emergency, and said, "Pick up Mila at daycare. I'm checking myself into the psych ward." And she was 2. The doctor was at the end of his shift. He gave me an antipsychotic and sent me home.
That's it?
I was like, what is this? How do people function on these? Like, people take these daily? I took that one pill.
What was it like? Like, did it numb everything?
No, it was like a trip. Like, it was amplified the anxiety for me. It amplified the waves. I think it's individual. I don't know how compared to.
Talk that, that you cried for help and they just try to medicate you.
I don't think the system knows what to do with women sometimes. Like, they want to just diagnose and they don't have any other follow-up.
Yeah.
There's no research enough to help us. And you have to be very vigilant and advocate for yourself. And I fired that doctor and I went through 4 more doctors. And in all honesty, like, I'm not against doctors. They're doing their job. They're educated in what they know. When it comes to the unknown, I think what happens is the only formula they have is to prescribe you something. And now it is shifting. It's shifting slowly. I think a lot of doctors that want to make change are getting re-educated in different niches. And they're there to provide you with more, as much as they know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to 2020. You're in British Columbia. What were you doing? Like, you decided to quit your job, and I know that you started taking some personal training classes, and you started a blog. So it seemed like it was the beginning of your transition into this.
I call it my awakening.
Yeah.
You get so uncomfortable until you have to make a drastic change. And I started trying all kinds of things, thinking something would stick. And that's when Reignite.
That's the best way to do things.
Yeah.
Just to go into something and realize this isn't for me.
Yep, that's when Reignite with Reet was born, but it was a fitness.
And it wasn't called Reignite with Reet yet. I don't remember.
It was birthed then.
Yeah, it was nameless then.
Yeah, but it wasn't into the public. It was a small private group of women that came into my garage, and we worked out. And that's what it was. It was an extent of an hour to a couple times a day, different moms in my little neighborhood, and we would work out.
Yeah.
And then I wanted more, but with COVID and everything that was going on, I didn't have the mental capacity at the time. I didn't know how to make it what this was.
Yeah, I mean, during COVID, everyone was sort of grieving their old life as well. And friendships that you couldn't hang out with your friends anymore in the same room. You had to be like 5 feet away. So you did that, and that was more of a physical thing. Yeah. Although being physically active does really help with your mental health.
Oh yeah.
How did you start just going deeper?
I had hired, like, all through my life from a young age, I've done different modalities of therapies. Movement was a major component in my life. I was always fit. I was always moving, went to the gym, played soccer. But at that point in 2020, we moved out west. I hired a coach and we did a year-long program. My husband and I, we did it separate, but we did it together. And it was more neuroscience based. It was taking accountability, responsibility, getting very, very real with yourself, saying, okay, now you're in the driver's seat. You are no longer the victim of your life. Whatever happened for you, not just to you. What do you want to do about it? And it was very powerful work. And I also learned that this is not just 1 year packaged up work and I'm done, I'm fixed. I really had to sink that home that for the rest of my life, there's going to be different parts, different layers, different levels, whatever you want to call it, right? And you're going to keep having to do the work. And how do you want to do it is up to you. You can be miserable, you can dig your heels in and this feels so hard. Or you can truly, at some point, flip the script and say, okay, I'm going to use this adversity and make it what I want. What am I going to do with it? And I've always wanted to share, and not from a victim, but to inspire a woman that I'm not the only woman with a story. Most of us have a dark past, dark things that happen to us. And we stay hidden, and by hiding, we give our power away. By not sharing, we don't help some other woman that's too scared. Or she's saying, me too movement. Like all of these things when they're intentional and you have the true purpose behind it, I think when you take action, it aligns, like today, right? And this all came together here on this island within like a month. I pulled out my old branding from Reignite with Reet, and it was sitting there. I pulled it out and I started talking to women in different circles. And through all of that, I did modalities of like breath work. I did yoga, I did tapping, I did whatever. I would try it all. And a lot of things had unlocked at different times. And I started realizing, oh my God, acupuncture, this helped with this, menopause symptom, this. And it just started clicking. And I had to do it. I had to pull the plug and say, you have to start this podcast. And whatever it's meant to be, you got to do it now. Uncomfortable, scared, all of it. You just got to. And it was so Reignite with Reet, because I felt like I was reigniting my life by being this person that could bridge so many people together and inspire people. Like,
what kind of stories can people expect on your podcast?
a lot of women sharing their struggles of infertility, of menopause, coming into menopause, the unknown, switching gears and careers, midlife awakenings, health issues, like businesses, things being birthed. Like, it's a spectrum of, I thought it was just going to be menopause, but it's starting to be health and wellness. And I'm allowing it to be what it is right now, because I think what I'm growing is and changing and saying I'm not in control, and I can be the container, I can provide, and I have to allow it to be organic. That's just who I am.
Will you be sharing more of your personal story on the podcast as well?
I will now.
Because I feel like we just scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's a lot of filler stuff in there too, and this was scary to ask you to do this and put myself in a room and share, like in this environment, to share the things I had to tonight. Didn't have to, I chose to, but I knew it would crack me open. To be like, to sit in my studio and do it in front of a camera, it won't feel so daunting anymore. If I just pulled the Band-Aid off, ripped it hard today, then I'm just gonna be like, well.
I just want to go back to your relationship with your dad. How did you forgive him for all that brutality that, he put upon you?
I'm glad you asked that, because it took me a long time. In my 20s, I just felt like, why? My question was always like, why? Why me? Why did you do that? And in my 30s, I started to see synchronicities in my life. If you know, you know. I realized if he didn't leave India, we would all be in that same, who knows where. If he didn't take us from my mom, I couldn't look back. I kept trying to look back, but what I had to realize was, what was the common theme in all of it? Everywhere along that journey, I met the next person that stepped in as my father or mother while they weren't in my life. Next. And then I started to really see how this man was just a hurt man. Hurt people, right? And he was just living not a true life to himself.
When did you understand this?
I understood when he was dying.
Wow, you were so young then for you to grasp that. And
when you watch somebody
accept it.
suffering at the end of their life for 2 years, it's a humbling for the rest of your life. I wanted to be a nurse. That changed that. I wanted to be a nurse. I'm like, I want to be a nurse. I was like, no, thank you. But I am a nurse. I was a nurse. And yeah, he gave me a very deep, rich experience. And that's just one part of it. And you know what happened so much after? I got to create my own family. I got to create my life. I truly believe I'm living out what he thought his sons would be living.
Yes, you've become this
I'm
entrepreneur.
the black sheep, cycle breaker, healer of my family. My brother passed, he was 29. My father was 39 when he died. When I was 39, about to turn 40, I had the existential crisis, walking into the hospital saying, I think I'm dying. If you look, I just flipped the script. It's not happening to me. I will not. I had to. My mom's not capable. Being from a village, doesn't speak English.
Where did you get the strength to just keep moving on? Because at 20, you met your adoptive family. They loved you. And then you met your husband. In between that, I just feel like that doesn't seem like enough. What was it how did you find that strength?
This.
Yeah.
All of my life, somehow I end up in rooms not somehow, I choose to show up. I've had you as my friend. You know, I have had many friends and still do. And I end up in places that people somehow either they challenge me and like irk me a little bit, piss me off enough to do the work or figure it out, being, why is this person pissing me off? Or love me so hard that I'm forced to just keep going.
So what do you hope what do you hope will happen with Reignite with Reet? I know you said you're just going to let it be. If you could control it, where do you see yourself with Reignite with Reet?
Well, good question. The next phases of this, I want to do the podcast, and I have a Reignite coaching program I've created to help women. There's a woman out there. You know, maybe she's never ever done self-work on herself. Maybe it's going to land on her. Maybe it's someone. And I'm launching that in a few months. And my goal is I will be speaking on stages. I will share as much of my story but more than my story, the tools that all of these women have given me. You know, they shared, like, I go everywhere and somebody's always like pushing me, wiping a tear away, saying, you know, giving me instructions on when I don't want to go to the gym anymore, and I'm like, I want to quit. Why don't you just do these stretches? No, you just gotta listen to and hear, right? We all have that, but we tend to ignore it. And when we do get in trouble, we get ourselves into sticky situations. But when you just go for it, scared, or in whatever manner that looks like. And not everybody wants to be a podcast host, but we're all meant for something amazing. And it's not about the fame or all of the whistles. That's great. But it's about the ripple effect of my child, that she won't live my journey, and neither will her children. And most importantly, I'm healing my ancestors. I'm healing my mom. I'm healing my grandma. I'm healing so many people in past and future. Like,
that actually leads me to one of the last questions that I want to ask you. So your beautiful daughter is here right now, 8 years old. Okay, she's not listening. So 15 years, in 15 years, she's listening to this interview. What do you want to say to her?
I'm going to tell her to go for it, no matter what, no matter how scared. And I tell her now. We've had some, in our short 8 years, had some really good conversations and saying, I'm proud of you. No matter what you do, I may get mad or I may yell, and I will always love you. I am so proud of you. No matter what, we will find our way. And I'm going to be here to support you no matter what you choose. Just don't choose what I'm telling you sometimes. As much as it... And she doesn't. But I'm doing the work so she can not live my expectations. She can live her life, her path. And she's meant for this beautiful life, right? She chose Hawaii. That girl has wisdom beyond my years.
Oh my goodness, this is, you know what, I meant to ask you this question earlier because it just reminded me, the expectations thing. You mentioned to me several times, how you were living up to other people's expectations. How did you break that? How did you break away from that?
Every step of the way. When I ran away, when my mother wanted me to come live with her the first time.
But it kept creeping up in adulthood too, like you're always trying to please,
that's
your
the
friends.
Thing. The lessons don't go away. Our life doesn't get easier. The workouts don't get easier. You get stronger. You get more emotionally intelligent if you do the work. You work the work. You gotta bet on you every time. And as much as, like, I don't really play poker, but I do like it. You gotta go all in. All in on yourself. Like, there's no holding back, no, playing small. You got to go all in on your life because we only get this life. I remind myself, my grandfather's 98 and he's kind of at health, kind of coming to an end. And when I say, if I am blessed to live that old, I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to say, I wish I did that, I wish of that. I want to say, okay, I did it. I did it on my path. I did it on my terms. That was hard. Learned a lot.
So last question. What are one or two things that you want the audience to take away here from your story?
Go all in on your life. Go all in on your life. And sometimes the people that love you the most hurt you. They just don't know. I refuse to believe they hurt you on purpose. Just, there's always another part. There's a part that we can't see, we don't understand right now. But give them the benefit of the doubt, right? And the sooner you forgive and move on, you make space for greater things to come into your life. And definitely go all in. And it's what Reignite is all about. Reignite your life, reignite yourself. Like, nobody else is gonna.
Yeah.
Take the time you need, like, take care of yourself. But make your dreams come true, because nobody is coming to save you.
Well, Reet, thank you for sharing your inspirational story and how you've managed to just fight through life. You know, you've inspired me to slow things down, because, you know, when we were in our 20s, we used to run every day after work, and rain or shine. And does anyone know Michael Bublé? Yeah. Okay, so I declined free Michael Bublé tickets to run in the snow with this lady here. 4 feet snow. I was like, no, gotta go run with Reet. But you know what? It was therapeutic for me, because we talked about our day. We talked about the challenges we had at work. You know, we were trying to climb the corporate ladder as well. And it was needed for me at that time to connect with Reet on that daily basis. But through the years, she's showed me to slow down, because when you just keep going and going and going, you can't see things clearly. You have to kind of slow down, and then that's when the creativity comes and the ideas come, and the reasonings for why you're doing things the way you are become clearer. So thank you for bringing that to light for me, because yes, I was go, 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 go. And now I've learned to slow down, and I'm happy that I'm actually going to be one of her first clients.
For my coaching program.
Yeah, for her
We're going to do a little
business.
pilot.
Yeah, she's going to test it on me first. See if it works for me, and I'll probably have
It will.
Yeah.
You work it. It doesn't
Yeah.
work if you don't work it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know you've shown me a lot already, and I think that we live in such a hustle culture. I don't know about island life, but yeah, in Toronto it was such a hustle culture that even moving to BC, it still is, even though it's a slower pace. But yeah, seeing you just kind of like trying to figure things out, I was like, whoa, she's found where she's supposed to be. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Welcome home, Reet.
Thank you, Vanny.
And I hope everyone here did find her story inspiring, and I hope that in one way or another, whether it's going through Reet's program, listening to her podcast, or telling your friends and family, colleagues about what Reet is up to, I hope that what she shared has inspired you to do something there that I listed. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanny, for doing this.